Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH Rebirth of Emperor Yang episode number 20 based on novel. So let's start. Buddha angry Lotus, burst. A light and floating words, only a few words, but in an instant, it shocked the whole world, and then it shook violently. The emptiness of thousands of miles is broken, the mountains and rivers are broken, and all life is turned into nothingness. The endless mountains and rivers are also broken in an instant like a mirror. Just for a moment, the whole heaven and earth disappeared in this space. The heaven and earth vision affected by Sirius' roaring moon was also smashed, and everything became the most primitive darkness. Luo Jin, who was standing on the ground, had already been flying and pacing in the void space. At the moment, he obviously tried his best to take care of his family. He came to Xiao Yan in less than a few seconds. Boom! In the void space, the fire lotus the size of a washbasin, the outermost layer of dark lotus petals like nothingness, under the constant vibration of this space, it seems that it can't bear it at last. It falls down gently and is disconnected from the whole lotus. At this scene, the split cloud wolf, who had disappeared all the breath of life, suddenly came back, and his dim scarlet eyes suddenly burst out a light. Ha ha ha. I thought it was a terrible human advanced fighting skill, but it turned out to be nothing but a failed product. Ha ha ha. You bold human, have cheated me repeatedly. I won't kill you completely today, frustrate my bones and ashes, in order to repay my hatred. Such bitter and vicious words came out, and the temperature in the whole space fell sharply, which made people feel a burst of cold, and also made people feel the cruelty of the split cloud wolf. The change of Buddha's anger lotus also shocked Xiao Yan's heart. Did the Buddha's anger lotus that he had succeeded with all his efforts really disperse at will? However, the next moment, after all the dark lotus petals fall, they spin around the fire lotus disc. The speed is faster and faster. With only a few breaths, they have exceeded the sound speed. In the space, there are some invisible black light spots converging to the fire lotus. In the dark, Xiao Yan also felt a very strange feeling in his heart. His soul power was pulled out without control. Although he was forcibly pulled out, Xiao Yan didn't feel a trace of pain, as if the soul power was scattered outside his body. As Xiao Yan's soul power leaves the body, in the nothingness, endless black light spots also gather in the fire lotus heart, mixed with the power of Xiao Yan's soul. The strange power is constantly changing in the fire lotus. This scene makes Xiao Yan and Split Cloud Wolf look a little distracted. They don't explode when they see the fighting skill for the first time. But even so, the people present did not dare to act rashly. Who knows if this thing will explode suddenly? I'm afraid no one can hide at that time. Only Luo Jin, still pale, became a little solemn. His eyes turned to Xiao Yan from time to time. His heart was full of horror. Because, in such a situation, it is the time to turn fighting skills into spirits and produce the will of the creator's soul. Once this step is completed, this human-level fighting skills will be the real peak work. As we all know, human-level fighting skills, whenever displayed, will condense the ghost of the creator. On the one hand, it enhances the power of fighting skills, on the other hand, it can also be regarded as a memorial to our predecessors. But not everyone can have this soul shadow, because if the creator's ability is not enough, he can't condense that shadow. Therefore, although there are many human-level fighting skills, there are few real human-level fighting skills. It's not so easy to create the peak. If you don't have enough talent and will, I'm afraid you can't create real human-level fighting skills no matter how strong you are. This guy is too exaggerated. At this moment, even Luo Jin couldn't stop pumping at the corners of his mouth. His eyes at Xiao Yan were like looking at monsters. For a moment, the black light spot in the fire lotus was finally gradually stable. Looking from a distance, Xiao Yan and Split Cloud Wolf were stunned. The shape of the light spot after it was stable was a human shadow. As soon as he wanted to ask Luo Jin, Xiao Yan's face changed again. In an instant, his eyes looking at the human shadow also changed. In Xiao Yan's eyes, the human shadow is his own appearance. This is. Xiao Yan's face suddenly changed. He was surprised that he couldn't express clearly. Luo Jin on one side smiled helplessly, his mouth twitched slightly, looked at Xiao Yan with envious eyes, and his tone showed his mood at the moment. That's fighting skill to turn spirit. Until now, your fighting skill is a real human advanced fighting skill. The voice was not loud, but it made Xiao Yan and the Split Cloud Wolf's complexion change instantly. Naturally, Xiao Yan doesn't need to say much. His face is excited. Now he is finally a great master. As for the split cloud wolf opposite, under Luo Jin's words, it was like a red-hot iron was suddenly thrown into the ice water and turned off in an instant. Fighting skill turns into spirit. No, I'm not reconciled. It's definitely not. How can you make fighting skill turn into spirit as a human who has just advanced to the 3-star-and-a-half emperor? It's impossible. This must be a lie you made up deliberately because you didn't know you could kill me with one blow. It's just to deceive me so that I can lose confidence, and then kill me with the help of this failed human-level fighting skill. Right. How can you deceive me with your tricks? It's wishful thinking to kill me. Under the fierce bombardment of fighting skill and spirit, the heart of Split Cloud Wolf was forcibly overwhelmed and gradually became fierce and crazy. He was still imagining his glory when he killed Xiao Yan. But as everyone knows, truth is truth. No matter how he doesn't believe it in his heart, Split Cloud Wolf will die today. Ha ha. Why, I'm right. I don't have a bottom in my heart. Come on. Turn fighting skills into spirit. The peak of human advanced fighting skills. Come and kill me. It's not big enough. I'll turn into a human again. Ha ha ha. During the crazy laughter, the Split Cloud Wolf really turned into a human again, with wide arms and a crazy look on his face, which made people laugh with disdain. Xiao Yan and Luo Jin could not help shaking their heads. I'm afraid they really let him go. That's all they can do in this life. Luo Jin twitched slightly at the corners of his mouth and glanced at Xiao Yan on one side again. His eyes were a little unnatural. Then he looked at the crazy cloud waves and sighed in his heart. I didn't expect that when I just met this guy, someone was scared crazy by him. I really don't know how to get along with him in the future. Xiao Yan smiled coldly, and an idea flashed in his heart. The fire lotus hanging in the void suddenly rushed to the Split Cloud Wolf, while Xiao Yan stood quietly in place and looked at what was going to happen next. Boom! The powerful airwave that was enough to break the void suddenly swept away. Xiao Yan's heart moved. The airwave automatically separated from Luo Jin, but the terrible high temperature still made Luo Jin afraid. In the lush mountains and forests, a straight man in black robes sits on a blue stone. Between heaven and earth, strands of pure heaven and earth energy continue to flow into the man's body. After the good film was carved, the man's eyelids trembled slightly, and then opened his eyes. In the depths of his eyes, a gorgeous flame light suddenly burst out, turning a towering ancient tree a few feet in front of him into a pile of powder. When the man's legs shook, his sitting body suddenly stood up, and looked at Luo Jin, who had just quit his cultivation state. These two people are Xiao Yan and Luo Jin, who escaped from the disaster after the complete outbreak of Buddha's anger lotus that day. After this war, the relationship between the two has been completely familiar, in which the friendship is deep and can be called a friend of life and death. Now the four eyes are opposite, and the understanding is at a glance. As soon as the palm of his hand turned over, a piece of emerald green jade appeared in Xiao Yan's palm. Luo Jin could not help but change his look in his eyes. When he looked at Xiao Yan, he saw that Xiao Yan looked indifferent. It was obvious that he had no intention to spy on this Qianqiu jade essence. This also made Luo Jin feel a little sorry. Even now, he still can't trust Xiao Yan completely. I'm really a little narrow-minded. Xiao Yan doesn't care about this. After all, few people can face it calmly in front of the most precious treasure of heaven and earth. It's human nature for Luo Jin to have such an idea in his heart. Naturally, he can understand it. With a wave of his palm in the air, a space crack appeared in front of him, put one hand into it, and pulled it again. A dark black iron 3 feet long and wide was pulled out by Xiao Yan in the air and fell to the ground. The flame meteorite black iron was extremely heavy. At the moment of landing, half of the whole flame meteorite black iron was forcibly hit into the ground. The terrible weight of the Yang meteorite black iron made the earth within a few miles suddenly shake. Around the black iron, the earth was also cracked like a spider's web. The crack was deep and could not see the bottom. When Luo Jin saw this, there was a flash of surprise in his eyes. Although he had heard a lot of information about Yang meteorite black iron, he just knew what it was called heaven shaking the earth. Just the power of coming to the world can move the earth's veins, and if you add the urge of fighting spirit, don't you want to compete with heaven? But Luo Jin thought about it, but he was shocked by Xiao Yang's terrible strength. He has seen the power of the black iron, but even so, he is still moved by Xiao Yang's hand. I have to say that Xiao Yang's strength is really terrible. He is proficient in fighting qi, refining medicine and refining body. This guy is really a pure demon. If such a guy really takes it as his cultivation goal, I'm afraid he doesn't need to continue his cultivation from now on, At this moment, Luo Jin was speechless for a while. After feeling in his heart, he no longer thought much. After all, if he was more than Xiao Yang, I'm afraid he would only lose his desire for cultivation. I don't know brother Luo Jin's skill of refining utensils. Wu, Xiao Yang's voice came into Luo Jin's ears and his face was slightly stunned. Luo Jin reacted and repaired and melted. These are two different casting techniques. With Xiao Yang's ability, although he has strong soul power, he is helpless in this regard. With a smile, Luo Jin said, "To be honest, brother Yang, I have been devoted to cultivation since I was a child, so I really can't learn the art of refining utensils." Xiao Yang frowned slightly when he heard the speech. If so, I'm afraid the repair of Shen Chongkai is far away. The art of refining utensils is different from that of refining medicine. Although both of them touch on the soul power and different fire, if they are really distinguished, there is a big difference. The herbalist, who melts the power of heaven and earth into the elixir, aims to save people. The tool refiner, who refines the gods of heaven and earth, is a dark steel sharp blade, which is intended to kill life. Therefore, looking at the essence, it is quite the opposite. It is not easy to get through the exchange. Luo Jin saw that Xiao Yang's face was sad, but he raised a comfortable smile at the corners of his mouth. He smiled and said, "Brother Yang Xiao, why worry? Although I don't know how to refine tools, it doesn't mean others don't." His eyes suddenly brightened. Xiao Yangmeng looked up and stared at Luo Jin. He also looked very eager. That look wanted to see Luo Jin through. It also saved Luo Jin's appetite. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly, and his neck could not help but shrink back. His throat rolled and muttered and grinned. Luo Jin quickly said, "That man is in the wild ancient city. He is called Luo Lao. You giant ruler, he should be able to repair." Hearing this, Xiao Yang's excited mood calmed down, but the deep pupil was still shining with eager light. The matter of Zhuangchongqi came to an end for the time being. Xiao Yang also turned his eyes to the farther sky, which is the direction of the wild ancient city. "Brother Yang Xiao, are you going to leave for the wild ancient city?" Xiao Yang smiled faintly at the corners of his mouth, and a cold light flashed at the bottom of his eyes, and said with a light smile, "I'm going to go to the wild ancient city. Besides, there are people waiting for me, so I can't find another one. Besides, the Xian heavy ruler also needs to be repaired. Go to the wild ancient city this time and solve it all at once." The look in his eyes flickered slightly. When Xiao Yang mentioned that someone was waiting for him, he naturally heard the Ling Lai killing intention hidden in his words. He couldn't help feeling sorry for that person. It's bad to provoke anyone, but he came to provoke the demon around him. As soon as the voice changed, Luo Jin asked again, "Brother Yang Xiao, I don't know if you're going to attend the 5-year meeting of medicine refiners this time? If so, you should have a good look at this meeting." Xiao Yang looked at Luo Jin in surprise and asked, "The herbalist meeting? I wonder if there will be an imperial pill?" Luo Jin looked slightly stunned, and then there was a convulsion in the corners of his mouth. "Emperor Pindan Fang, do you think this is the middle region? Emperor Pindan Fang is so worthless." He glanced at Xiao Yang strangely in his eyes. Luo Jin was quite speechless. He glanced and said, "Emperor Pindan, don't say it's the southern border, that is, the southern state city. I'm afraid there's no such thing." Xiao Yang frowned slightly, and his face looked a little changed. It was obviously surprised at Luo Jin's answer. Without waiting for Xiao Yang's inquiry, Luo Jin immediately said, "Here, the most advanced Dan prescription is probably no more than a third-order Dan prescription." Third-order Danfang? It seems that even here, the Imperial Danfang is the only one in the world. Although there is no Imperial pill, it is said that those who will win in this pill will get a fragmented volume of 6th-order pill. Although there is no Imperial pill, it is said that if someone can win the first place in the conference, he will be able to get a fragmented pill of level 6 pills. When talking about the 6th-order pill, Luo Jin's voice was very heavy. It felt like he was trying to arouse a trace of interest in Xiao Yang's heart. "Oh, the 6th-level pill is a fragmented script, but as long as you can make good use of it, you can also feel and refine a new pill." Xiao Yang was surprised at first, then he smiled lightly, and said with a faint smile in his mouth, "It is also a common growth method for herbalists to understand the Dan Dao with the help of Dan Fang, and this method can also make herbalists get a lot of improvement. For most herbalists, this is really an excellent growth method." Just as Xiao Yang left Liu Xiong the volume of lifelong insights of the 8-product herbalist when he left the Liu family, there are many views on Dan Dao. If Liu Xiong can carefully understand it, It will be of endless benefit to one of his Dan Dao. His eyes narrowed, and there was a flame flickering and beating in the depths of his pupils. He was Xiao Yang and was bound to attend the herbalist meeting. Well, then, let me meet the herbalist of Yuanwu mainland for a while. Since Xiao Yang became emperor, he never had a chance to find a strong herbalist to compete again. This also made Xiao Yang feel depressed. But now he has such an opportunity. Xiao Yang will not miss it. He roars up to the sky. The pride in his bones is to take advantage of the momentum to soar into the sky. He is so powerful that he wants to pierce the sky. It seems that Brother Yang Xiao is imperative for this medicine refining master meeting. In that case, I will leave first. If I have a chance in the future, Luo Jin will cooperate with Brother Yang Xiao again. Seeing Xiao Yang's heroic spirit going up to the sky, Luo Jin also had a bottom in his heart, so he stopped talking and said frankly, "Oh, Brother Luo Jin, don't you go to the wild ancient city?" Xiao Yang was also surprised that Luo Jin did not go to the wild ancient city, while Luo Jin smiled faintly and said, "Brother Yang Xiao is attending the herbalist meeting. I Luo Jin naturally want to witness one or two. However, I also have some trivial things right now, so I can't go with Brother Yang, but I promise you that I will watch when you play." Xiao Yang also smiled heartily when he heard the speech, and said with a heroic laugh, "Ha, in that case, brother, I'm waiting for Brother Luo Jin in the wild ancient city. I also wish Brother Luo Jin a smooth trip and return safely." The two of them exchanged a few polite words. Xiao Yang hugged Luo Jin with both hands and said with an arched hand, "Brother Luo Jin, see you later. Brother Yang Xiao, see you later." Between the clouds, Xiao Yang's body quickly flew towards the nearest city here. "Jiyu Lao, what's the name of the thing Luo Jin used that day? It can forcibly transfer people thousands of miles away. Is it a transmission array?" Jiyu burst into laughter when she heard the speech. Obviously, she was hurt by Xiao Yang's words. Xiao Yang smiled like a curious baby and waited for Jiyu's answer. After a long time, Jiyu slowly pressed down the smile in his heart, exhaled a long breath and said with a smile, "I'm afraid you are so ignorant. Ha, with that boy's background, will you still use the little thing of the transmission array?" Jiyu's words made Xiao Yang have a new view on Luo Jin. Luo Jin also has a good background. Hey, do you think everyone in Yuanwu mainland can become a semi-emperor strong at your age? You really treat the semi-emperor strong as rotten cabbage. It seems that Xiao Yang's inner thoughts have long been expected. As soon as Jiyu's voice turned, he talked about Luo Jin's strength. Such a remark made Xiao Yang feel confused. Hey, that boy, I'm afraid it's just experience from the central region. If there are some super forces in the southern region, they can only be the super forces in the southern region. Don't think about anything else. What he used that day was not a transmission array. You know, the transmission array that can transmit thousands of miles is fixed and can't be carried with him. Without Xiao Yang's questioning, Jiyu immediately said, "What the boy uses is boundary-breaking beads, which are condensed by the strength of the strong in the source sun territory into space. They can forcibly break through the void and travel thousands of miles away in an instant, but the forces of the active strong are bound to prepare several for the later generations. Of course, this boundary-breaking pearl can't be condensed at will. Even for the strong, the success rate of refining is only 1/3. And even if the refining is successful, the consumption of itself is very huge. It usually has to take a few months to fully recover. Therefore, if it were not for the forces with inside information, even if they were active and respected, they would rarely refine that thing. After all, no one can guarantee whether other forces will destroy you when you are weak. Therefore, the output of this boundary-breaking pearl is almost poor, which also leads to its extremely tight demand on the mainland. And since the boy can easily take it out, it shows that his power is by no means only one source respected strong man. At this point, Xiao Yang knows all the words of Jiyu. I'm afraid Luo Jin's identity is very comparable. No wonder he dares to come here alone to face the split cloud wolf. After a slight pause, Xiao Yang turned his head and looked into the depths of the endless mountains, where there was a wide dark area that existed independently in the world. Even this world was hard to erase. And that is what the Buddha Anger Lotus left after the complete explosion. The whole heaven and earth has been forcibly swallowed up by the power of the Buddha Anger Lotus and completely disappeared between the heaven and earth. And the endless darkness, want to be completely wiped out, if there is no half a year, I am afraid it is completely impossible. It seems that in the future, the Buddha's Anger Lotus can't be used at will, otherwise, It can't be said that it will really attract the strong in the mainland. I'm afraid there will be a lot of trouble at that time. Xiao Yan was also shocked by the outbreak of Buddha's anger Lotus after the war. He didn't expect that the human-level fighting skills could explode such a strong power that even his controller was difficult to control. Well, the reason why you can have such strong power is that your 3 different fires are too rebellious. Coupled with my strength, it is naturally difficult to restrict. Xiao Yan nodded slightly. Naturally, he knew that there was no more powerful fire than them in the world. 3 things against the sky, plus a powerful different fire, condensed into a Buddha anger Lotus. I'm afraid I can't press it down. With another sigh in his heart, Xiao Yan didn't stay any longer. When he moved, he flew quickly towards the wild ancient city. In the endless stream of people, Xiao Yan swam between people, but the light swing made passers-by unable to touch him. Occasionally, there will be individual golden fingers who want to covet 1 or 2 on Xiao Yan, but the result is also suppressed by Xiao Yan's heart. In such a busy city, Xiao Yan really seldom realizes it again. After all day's cultivation, Xiao Yan has a sense of solitude of being a Philistine but being alone. Suddenly, as soon as Xiao Yan looked up, he found that there were bursts of flame power surging not far ahead. He couldn't help mentioning a trace of interest in his heart. A hook in the corner of his mouth was a light walk. Although Xiao Yan's movement seems to be slow, if you carefully observe it, you can find that each step of Xiao Yan's stride is more than a few feet. A few blocks away, in a twinkling of an eye, came near, and the noise in the crowd also gave some information. Hey, Muling wants to compete with Xu Xiao in medicine refining. It's stupid. Who in Yangluo City doesn't know that Xu Xiao's medicine refining is the first person in a century? This guy even wants to compete with Xu Xiao. He really doesn't know what to do. Among the crowd, a strong man looked at a thin man on the stage and couldn't help laughing at the corners of his mouth. As soon as his words came out, the people on the scene echoed them. This endless ridicule also made the man in the field look very blue. He stared at a young man in royal clothes with a pale face and an ironic smile on his mouth. If the eyes could kill, I'm afraid the guy opposite would have died right now. I don't know how many times. Hey, how about fighting with me? As long as you win me, you will take the glaze essence today, and I will pay for it. Xu Jin didn't care about Mu Ling's biting eyes, but said with a self-centered sneer, while Mu Ling heard a surge of anger rush to his head and stared at Xu Jin's eyes. But when Xu Jin's whole body was full of momentum and the threat of the strong fighter was revealed, Mu Ling's anger was quenched by a blow. In front of Dozong's strong men, he is nothing but the strength of Do Huang's peak. Dozong is still too strong. When the onlookers felt Xu Jin's breath, the whole time was boiling. Xu Xiao is among the strong fighters of Dozong. Congratulations to Xu Xiao, advanced Dozong. Congratulations to Xu Xiao, advanced Dozong. For a moment, the noisy scene was as warm as a boiling oil pan. Xiao Yang stood in front of the stone platform about 1 meter high with a pale smile on his face and looked at Mu Ling in the field. With Xiao Yang's strength, we can naturally see that Mu Ling's soul power is no less than that of Xu Jun. If they really fight together, it's really the winner. Suddenly, Xiao Yang smiled even more, and looked at Mu Ling with more recognition. When Xu really accepted the worship of the people, Mu Ling's voice full of determination suddenly came out. Xu Jun, I want to challenge you. We are competing on this Tianxia platform to refine medicine. The winner takes away the glaze essence, and the cost of the glaze essence is paid by the loser. The content of the competition is better than the quality of the pill made by who? Xu Jinin's cold face dispersed, and a warm expression greeted him. The former stretched out one hand and made an inviting gesture. The spring breeze smiled warmly. Okay, now that Brother Muling has agreed, all of you present will also make a witness. Today, I, Xu Jun, want to compete with Muling in medicine refining. In order to avoid denial, all of you present are the judges of today's game. Everything is up to you. As soon as Xu Jun said this, the field was boiling again. All kinds of words floated out, all of them mocking Muling. Ha ha, Muling, you really don't know what's good or bad. I advise you to admit defeat as soon as possible so as not to waste Xu Xiao's cultivation time and lose face. How embarrassing you will be at that time, ha ha ha. Yes, Muling, kneel down and admit defeat quickly. I can't say Xu Xiao is happy. I really give you the glass essence, ha ha. All kinds of abuse and ridicule came into Muling's ears from all around, making Muling's face as low as water. His palms were also slowly clenched. The creaking sound between his fingers showed his state of mind at the moment. Are these people so mean? When the Mu family was the first family in Yangluo City, they had the courage to laugh at the Mu family. Which one of them is not courteous and flattering? Now, the traitors are in power and the Mu family is lonely. These people immediately turn against each other. This people's heart is really changeable. Xiao Yang looks back at Muling in the audience. On him, Xiao Yang sees himself. Muling gives him a feeling that he is very familiar with. On the stone platform in the field, Muling waved his big sleeve, and then saw a flash of light in front of him. Over Muling's head, a three-legged golden cicada tripod with a height of more than 1 foot crashed in front of Muling. Xu Zhen smiled coldly when he saw this. It was obvious that he was not interested in Muling's medicine Dinghao. Tripod. Meteor River God Tripod. It was also a move with big sleeves. A blue light flashed in front of Xu Zhen, and then a medicine tripod with more prestige than the 3-foot golden cicada tripod crashed in front of Xu Zhen. The medicine tripod was so powerful that once it fell, it smashed the stone platform into ruins. Except Xiao Yang, everyone hurried back to the top of other houses to observe the divine tripod. And Xiao Yang, when the dust and fog dispersed, his eyes fell on the Meteor River God tripod. Xiao Yang stared at the huge tripod, and there was a strong surprise in his expression, because others may not know this medicine tripod, but based on his knowledge of the Tianding list, this medicine tripod, if not bad, is the Luo Tiantian tripod ranked second in the Tianding list. Although it's damaged, it's an unexpected joy, haha. Under Xiao Yang's exploration, the Luo Tian divine tripod is already damaged. No wonder these people call it wrong. Xiao Yang was paying attention to the medicine tripod, but the audience noticed Xiao Yang. This man was the only one who didn't quit after the stone platform collapsed. Hey, this man is probably a fool. He dares to stay there. Is he trying to attract people's attention? Ha ha ha. Seeing Xiao Yang standing in the field, the people outside also laughed constantly, while Xu Zhen glanced at Xiao Yang with a sneer on his face and didn't pay much attention to his existence. When Muling saw the divine tripod, he also felt dignified. The medicine tripod is absolutely indispensable to their herbalist and is also a very important thing in the process of refining medicine. The quality of the medicine tripod also determines the quality of the pill to a great extent. A good medicine tripod can virtually increase the success rate by several %, and even improve the medicine properties of pills. Therefore, as soon as this divine tripod appeared in the field, Muling felt a burst of pressure suddenly hit his heart. Jia! Now that the tripod is lit, let's start, Muling. Let me see how capable you are, senior 6th grade herbalist. This video will end here.